We established previously that the Walmart Wagyu steak was actually better than it had any business being. Far better, actually. It beat the other competitors' steaks on a taste test. It cooked very, very nicely. The flavor was actually really good. But what we did was a really basic cook. So the question is, can we make it better if we add additional components? Well, today we're going to find out. I'm Greg the Grilling Guy. So if you recall last time, as I said, I did a very basic cook on this Walmart Wagyu steak. Now this steak, the marbling looks good on it. They had a couple that had slightly better marbling, but there was a lot of fat, muscular fat in there, and it just wasn't what I was looking for. So we're gonna go with this one. Unfortunately, it's a little bit thinner than I would typically like for a steak. I like to get a thicker cut steak and cook that low and slow. So today we're gonna kind of mix that up and we're gonna cook it over. We're gonna start it low and slow, but we're actually going to finish it. And how do we finish it? Bacon up. Before we get there, we're going to do the traditional brining. So I'm going to put some brining salt on here, let it sit in the fridge for 4 hours. And when that's done, I'm going to put some smoky bourbon rub on there. This is something that my son-in-law got for me. It's absolutely amazing. So I question, will it mix well with the buttery flavor of the Wagyu steak? There's really only one way to find out. So let's get at this. For brining this steak, we're going to do what we always do. Just a little bit of kosher salt, a pinch of it, spread over both sides of the steak, and then into the fridge for probably 3 to 4 hours. Should be fully absorbed by then, especially with the Wagyu steak. Once that's done, we will take it inside. We're going to put that seasoning on that. And I'll show you kind of how much seasoning I put on and how I do it. And then we will move it out to the grill. So stick with me. We're going to see how this turns out. So it's been 4 hours, and I mentioned earlier that this steak, I'm going to do it a little bit differently than the last one. The last one I did in a very basic manner. I should also point out that this time I got a ribeye. The original video was actually a New York strip. They didn't have ribeyes at the time. So I'm not really doing a fair comparison, a one-to-one, because the steak I had from Target was a ribeye. Now, I did do a little bit of garlic seasoning on there, Cajun seasoning on there. So I guess dressing this one up isn't going to hurt, but we're also going to take this and we're going to reverse sear it. So I'm going to try cooking it in the bacon up. I'm going to do it on the barbecue on a low and slow on indirect heat. And then I'm going to put the bacon up into the cast iron pan and I'm going to sear it at the very end. So instead of doing the hot sear at the beginning, I do it at the end. Am I gilding the lily putting bacon grease on a Wagyu steak? Probably, but I mean, that's what I do. So I'm going to put some binding on here. Duck fat, as always. Spray a little of that onto the steak. Rub that in there. And then I'm going to put on this, what's it called here? Bourbon Smoked Chef's Blend. Again, this is something that my son-in-law got for me in New Orleans. I tried it on a couple other steaks. It was really good, so I'm looking really forward to tasting this. I don't want to go too heavy because a lot of it's going to come off in the reverse sear. But I want something on there to give it a little bit of flavor while it cooks. Little hit. Same thing on the other side. And then we are going to go out, get the charcoal running, and I will meet you out there. All right, we're out of the barbecue pit. I've got my meter probe into this. This thing's going to be a little tricky because I'm not doing the sear at the front, I'm doing the sear at the end. I'm going to put a bit of smoke onto it, but I'm going to have to take this off at a slightly lower heat than I traditionally do because of the heat that's going to be in the pan. So I'm going to put this on. Again, I've got my heat set up. I'm using a lump charcoal, but I'm not searing. I'm just trying to get the higher heat to get everything pushed through. So I'm going to put the steak over on this side, get it going. I'll toss my potatoes on there, and I'm going to start getting the vegetables ready, and we will pick this up at the sear. I pulled the steak a little bit early because I am going to sear it in this pan. I had this pan really hot, so I'm going to drop this in here into the bacon grease. Step back because this might be dangerous, and we're going to sear this to finish it, and then put it in the barbecue bag to let it rest. I'm going to spoon some of this bacon grease over top to make sure that the flavor gets everywhere. I'm only going to let it sit for about 30 seconds aside. You can see that actually seared up nicely. We'll give that a couple minutes, and then I'll put it into the barbecue bag and bring it inside to rest, and then we'll look at the cut. This steak shrunk down a lot more than I was expecting. However, I am curious to see exactly what this is going to taste like. Should be a different flavor profile. Let's find out. Definitely cuts easy. Take that out. It's a perfect medium rare. That's what I was looking for, the pink inside. Slice is really nice. Now we go for taste. That is good. So much like the last one, very complex, heavy, buttery flavor from the Wagyu. The rub on there gives it a bit of that sweet heat, and then of course, it's bacon up. You can't go wrong with bacon up. So I'm gonna call that a winner. But if you get it just the plain old-fashioned way, probably gonna do just fine as well. Maybe it's just the beef, maybe it's the cook, I don't know. But hey, I'm Greg the Grilling Guy. Thanks for watching my channel. If you like what you see, please hit like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Again, all the tools that I've used during this cook will be in the description with links to Amazon. If you're interested in anything and you want to click through there, it doesn't cost you anything, certainly helps the channel out. So I appreciate your time, folks, and remember, grill it real good.